MAME phase.
Ooh, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Right, this all seems to work again. I don't know where the Twitch chat is on the stream, or the YouTube chat even. I don't know why I said Twitch chat. But the YouTube chat on the screen seems to have vanished, but I can still see everybody's words and what they're saying in the chat window I have at the side, so don't worry about it not appearing on the actual stream. So hi, I'd just like to say hello to Mitchell, who joined very early, the Ogre, who joined quite early, and Evie, my other half, who is here and watching the stream again. So good to see you, Evie. And yeah, after the long day we've had, I am surprised you are still awake. I'm surprised I'm still awake even, but here we are, and I'm going to be having a look at some of the recent progress in MAME, I think, and maybe some miscellaneous games. But the one I want to start off with is this new dump of Bubble Buster, which is a USA version of Puzzle Bobble, and an unusual one. I'll get to the reasons for that shortly. So, chat disconnected. There appear to be a few problems with the chat today. Chat. Apparently the chat's broken even there now. So, yeah, this may not be a very interactive stream because YouTube chat has been playing up for the whole of the pre-stream too. So, anyway, let me switch views. Let me turn the volume back up on the game. Let me full screen it. And let me coin it up. I'm going to try refreshing the chat in a bit, but we'll see. Anyway, the first thing you'll notice about this version of the game is that Bob and Bob are entirely missing. Actually, I've got the sound source wrong here, so just a second. I knew I'd forget something. There we go. So right, let's reset again. And teething problems tonight. So, Bubble Buster, as I said. Okay, apparently I can't connect to YouTube at all on the chat. I don't know. Well, anyway, you've always been able to hack the Puzzle Bobble B system version to boot as Bubble Buster. But if you did, the sounds were all wrong, because much like Buster Move Again on F3 platform, Bubble Buster requires a different sound ROM, and I didn't think we'd ever see a dump of it, because this is basically an unreleased version of the game. Even the board this was dumped from appears to be a location test board. It's got handwritten labels rather than the proper Taito printed labels with the checksums on. But it does appear to also be the final version of the game. The build date is identical to the released version, although that raises questions of its own. Hold on, this is now saying I've got no internet at all. So, what's going on here? What is going on here? Okay, now my chat's back. So there's something going on with the YouTube chat today. I'm not getting any drop frames or anything. So, hey Roberto, hey Andrea, hey Foxat, hey Costardo, and hey Aussie Guy. I can now see your messages, and I'll get on playing this. So, how is everybody? I hope you're all well, and it's good to see you. And sorry for this one being a bit later than usual, but it has been a busy day, and so I've not got in and settled down, had a bite to eat and drink, and thought I'll get on with the chat. But yeah, this has unusual sounds, and I don't know what to think of it. I mean, the whole appeal of Puzzle Bobble really is the cutesy Bob and Bob characters, the cutesy sound effects, but Taito just seemed to be in the mindset that the US audience didn't want that, and they had to somehow retheme the games and make them appeal more to a non-Japanese audience. And they didn't, did they? They really didn't. I mean, this has less appeal than the main version of the game. It's just got this fairly generic, spacey music. say all the theming's gone. There's no Bub, there's no Bob, there's no characters in the bubbles. And it loses all its charm. So I can kind of see why it's possible this version didn't actually get released. I mean, this board I think was found in Mexico. So it's probably tested there. I mean, one of the US regions Taito do acknowledge is Mexico. And so we're quite lucky to have it, especially as otherwise the unique sound ROMs for this version would likely have been lost, because unlike most Taito games where the sound ROMs are the same, they actually do have different sound ROMs on this. So just region hacking it, as I said, didn't give you the right sounds. Hey Carlo, yeah, I think it's just YouTube playing up, and it's not even appearing in the stream window. It's not loading it properly up there, so there's something wrong somewhere, but I don't think it's my end. Never mind, it's only going to be a quick stream this one anyway. So I wanted to demonstrate a few things, including this. But this will be the parent set of Puzzle Bobble in the next MAME version, and I'm not entirely sure I agree with that. I mean, it is almost certainly a location test board. And while it is a finished version, should a location test be a parent set? I guess that's a debate for another time. Oh dear, I'm doing terrible. A debate for another time maybe, but personally, I know it's the latest English version, apart from the Neo Geo one, which is treated differently anyway, but it didn't get released. Is it really the latest English version? Questions, questions, questions. Now, I'm not especially good at Puzzle Bobble. The scoring strategy for Puzzle Bobble is to try and drop as many pieces as you can when a piece drops. So the more you get rid of at the same time, the bigger your bonus. Hey David, how are we doing? Welcome, welcome, thank you for joining. So I'm not getting big bonuses, I'm not getting big drop bonuses. I'm just about surviving. I'm playing this for survival rather than scoring. Now I did mention that the build version is identical to the Japanese version, and that sort of raises some questions of its own, because the build string is a full date including time, and I always got the impression that Taito's build tools automatically generated that, but the game code seems to be a different revision because the code is shifted around. Very, very strange. The whole set is a strange set. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. I don't think it can be a hack. I don't think this is some user-made hack, because the labels on the ROMs did have Japanese kanji on them, so it does appear to come from Japan, rather than being a bootleg made in Mexico. But yeah, the whole build date thing is confusing. I mean, why would the build date be identical right down to the timestamp when the actual code has changes? But I don't know. We may never have the answers to these questions. Yeah, there's some problems with YouTube tonight, the Ogre, I think. Hey, Lo-Fi Kills. Yeah, it's pretty late here, so this is probably going to be a short one. But yeah, my usual streaming routine is a bit off at the moment, as you may have noticed. I mean, I was ill, then I was very busy, and enjoying the sun a little bit the other days, going out on a nice walk around, climbing up a few hills, looking after my friends' kids a little bit, and just enjoying the freedoms we have back while we still got them back for a while, really. Because who knows what's going to be happening over the winter. Although so far things are looking pretty good. But too early to say. But yes, I don't know if these sounds they used on this game are taken from anything else, or if they are unique sounds they made for this version of Puzzle Bobble, this Bubble Buster. I don't recognise them, so I think it might be an original soundtrack and original sound effects. But, we'll have a look at Buster Move again in a bit as well, which is the other time Taito decided that the US didn't want cutesy Puzzle Bobble. But, this is the new set that will be in the next MAME version. No. I'm struggling here. But yeah, it's the other interesting thing with this is by the time it was released on the Neo Geo, that was Buster Move, but it still had Bubble and Bob. They hadn't actually stripped them out of it. They left them in it, including all the music and thing. I mean, even this screen is different in this version. It doesn't use the cutesy font. It uses this more serious font. I say all these graphic assets and everything else are present in the Japanese set. It's just the music ROM and sound ROM that actually have different content. I mean, the sample ROM in this version is half the size of the Japanese version, for example. I think the chat is disconnected again. Hold on. Hold on. So what are we doing here? Yeah, it's not loading the chat properly. So yeah. Okay, it's maybe refreshed, but yeah, if you go into the the test mode, you can see the date there is 1994-06-15, time 15:28:30, version 2.0A, so it's a USA version. Configuration, your standard options, nothing special. One thing I did notice while browsing the graphic tiles in this, though, if I can find them. Where is it? Look, you've blown us away. There's a winner free t-shirt. I don't know if the code to display that is still in. This is in both the USA and Japanese sets, but there was clearly a free t-shirt offer associated with this original Puzzle Bobble Bubble Buster at some time. So I don't know if there's any code to display that, because I've never seen that displayed, but apparently they were thinking of doing a competition at the time. Yeah, test. Yeah, YouTube's being a bit rubbish today, I'm afraid. It's not saying any drop streams, so I don't think the video's dropping, but the chat is dropping in and out, and it's not appearing on my screen. This is definitely a YouTube issue, though. Never mind. Anyway, that was a Bubble Buster. And for reference, let's just have a look at Puzzle Bobble. I mean, this is what Japan got. And, you know, instantly you've got this far fancier title screen presentation with the bubbles. Yeah, quite a few games were doing it, David, especially Atari ones and American ones. It's more unusual to see it in a Japanese game, which is why I'm wondering if there's any way to enable those screens, because that'd be kind of interesting to see how it's meant to look. Yep. So this is what the Japanese got. This has got Bob and Bob. It's got all your cute graphics. It's got Bob and Bob turning the handles, and the little creatures trapped in the bubbles that fall down when you pop them. And it's just got so much more appeal. And the iconic music, the samples. So why would Taito want to take all this away and just replace it with something so completely generic for, you know, the US audience? I mean, I'm glad the Neo Geo version just stuck to the theme and really just changed the title screen, because, you know, it's almost a crime that the rest of the world were not going to get the proper Puzzle Bobble. There's definitely an alternate timeline in here where the Neo Geo version didn't happen and the you know, Bubble Buster was what was released. But I wonder if it was SNK's decision to actually ship the proper version on the Neo, because clearly somebody decided to do something different for the Neo Geo version and keep all the theming. It seems like common sense, but I think we've seen it with some other puzzle games, haven't we? Where the export versions were heavily censored to the point where they weren't as interesting. Versus Block Breaker comes to mind. The originals got dancing hamsters all over the place, and the intro is a silly song. And Versus Block Breaker is just plane. We could also look at some clones of this, I guess, you know, copies of it. And we've disconnected from the chat again. Sorry, everybody. I'm glad I'm not doing a Duel or Junk today, then, because it doesn't look like this is going to be a very interactive stream. But rest assured, if the chat comes back, I will read your messages. Must be some maintenance work. Anyway, you see, Puzzle Bobble with all this. Let's just end ourselves. And you see, you've got this cutesy presentation, even on the high score table, which again, as I say, Bubble Buster just made so much more generic. The default high scores is the same though, if, has, knob, van. But yeah. Anyway, that was the Puzzle Bobble version, which has been in MAME for a long time. The music data in Bubble Buster is in the Neo Geo version, but unused in the game's data. Yeah. I guess it must have been considered too cutesy or something, but yeah. Hey Neutrino, no issues with the stream for you. The chat keeps dropping in and out for me. I'm going to see if I can get it to refresh on here, but I don't think I can. So, as I mentioned, that wasn't the only time Taito did that. They also did it with the sequel. And I'm going to have to turn this in service mode onto volume-wise. Sound options, main volume. So yeah, you see, there we go. So yeah, for the F3 system, now this would have been released after Puzzle Bobble 1 appeared on the Neo Geo, complete with the cutesy theme, even under the Buster Move name. But for some reason, when releasing on their own F3 platform, the sequel, Taito once again went with a generic theme. It's called Buster Move again. So it's even meant to be the sequel to Buster Move, which was on the Neo Geo. But Buster Move on the Neo Geo had all the cutesy graphics. Because this isn't called Bubble Buster again, this is called Buster Move again. But they've taken Bob and Bob out. They've got this steering handle thingy here. But, you know, they've got explosions instead of... I really don't know. Anyway. But again, this has a different sound program. In fact, it seems to have the same music, doesn't it? But this, say again, just like with Bubble Buster, if you region hack the other versions of the game, you don't get the correct sound. This requires unique sound ROMs to work. So it's just so unusual for Taito because, you know, most Taito games are not like that at all. The sound ROMs contain all the sound assets of both versions. So was this partly handled outside of Japan? It's just, you know, a case that doesn't really make sense. And of course the Neo Geo would get a version of Puzzle Bobble 2, which again got rid of the whole no theme. Yeah, this one's got all the explosions. And of course, once you get onto the PlayStation versions, many of those were called Buster Move, but I believe did still have the theming. So it's all very confusing. At least this one is slightly more attractive. You've still got graphics in the bubbles that rotate. The computer's a bit rubbish. But it's still not got the same appeal as having proper Bubble and Bob graphics. And what's even more surprising is Bubble Bobble was such a popular game. You would have thought they would want to capitalise on the Bubble and Bob thing, not hide it. Unless in America Bubble Bobble wasn't popular, but I always got the impression it was popular everywhere. I know at the very least it was popular over here because it was, it's one of the top games on all our home platforms. Everybody loved a bit of Bubble Bobble. You know, iconic character Rainbow Islands was just as iconic. It's almost a Sega level of IP use confusing. Stream is stuttering. It's not showing any dropped frames, lo-fi kills, but it's probably just YouTube again. We do seem to be having some YouTube issues tonight. Oh dear, I'm doing quite badly now. But yeah, you see, you're playing against a generic computer. Well, this one was released. We know this was released. And this was what the American arcades got for Puzzle Bobble 2 on the F3 system as Buster Move again. And like with the previous one, we will look at the other version of Puzzle Bobble 2. Again, a lot of the strategy here is trying to do big drops and causing them to drop larger chains of pieces onto the enemy, and that requires strategy and thinking and not chatting. I've never been very good at two-player Puzzle Bobble, I have to say. That was a terrible move on my part. If you can get to that flashing one... Oh, okay, the computer just messed up. Oh, hey, Flack, you, Bubble Jesus. Oh, I am Bubble Jesus. Yes, they can have an August blessing because it has been a while. So may my viewers be blessed by Beardy Bubble Jesus. Okay, yeah, me. Yeah, okay. That's a blessing. A very very confused blessing, but it's still a blessing. And Flack is a very good way to store your music, so Flack also gets my blessing. I have much music stored as Flack. It is my preferred format. And the chat's disconnected again because of course it has. Anyway, this was Buster Move again on the F3 system. Because, you know, Taito thought America didn't want cutesy. And yeah, that's the same little tune as the first game. So we'll briefly look at what everywhere else got for Puzzle Bobble 2, which is a much better offering. Yeah, sound test. Hold on, let me try refreshing the chat. Yes. There won't be as many Michael Bay explosions on this one. You know, you've even got your animated intro here. So they put all this work into an animated intro. Again, all the character animations, and these went completely unused in the American version. Little dance. Doesn't that just look so much better than the Buster Move Again thing? Refresh chat. This screen looks far better too. You've got music on the screen, which even with the proper sound bombs does not happen on the Buster Move 2. Got these animated cutscenes with lovely graphics and scrolling clouds. And a decent soundtrack. It actually, you know, gets you going. It's not the iconic Puzzle Bobble music, but it's still a better soundtrack than Buster Move Again. With vocals. Again, maybe Taito thought that wasn't friendly to American audiences and they wanted songs with vocals in, so stripped them out. I'd love to hear the story from inside Taito one day. Maybe it was based on location testing, maybe it was based on demands of American arcade operators. Don't know. Maybe we'll never know. So I'm doing terribly. Nope, that's still one. Again, little cutscene. Now your classic music. But you know, enhanced for the F3 system, so it's got lots of extra little bits to it, so just sounds that bit more than the older version of the song. So yeah, apparently this has turned into, so far, the Puzzle Bobble stream, which wasn't really the intention, but we'll look at something a bit different in a second. See if I can get the chat back up. Anything back up? DNS error. So if I actually have internet. Okay. I don't know what's going on right now. Hold on. It's not. I'm not. I don't even know if I'm streaming at the moment. I suspect not. Hello. Hello. Is this okay? It said the whole internet dropped out. I am streaming. Okay. It just said the whole... Yeah, it told me the whole internet dropped out, so I had to reconnect it. I'm not sure what's going on, but it's probably a problem my end and YouTube's end today. But hopefully we are back now. So yeah, as I was saying, this is the proper cutesy version, and it's just more enjoyable. You know, you can't underestimate the value of a theme that just appeals. You know, Puzzle Bobble is a very generic puzzle game. But if it looks good, then you enjoy it. If it sounds good, if it gets you in the mood, and this does, whereas the Bubble Buster and Buster Move Again versions just don't do it for me. But yeah. And again, this screen looks much better on this version too. Again, it's cutesy. The Game Over logo. Look at so much more in the presentation here. So much better. So Gradius, Nemesis, and Bubble System. It wasn't meant to be a Bubble theme stream, Carlo. Well, I could do Bubbles the game. Now, I want to look at a different Taito thing right now. Now, we're going to have a look at some progress from Vil. Again, this does not run at full speed on my system, and it has no sound. But it is quite an impressive little bit of progress. What window now? So, the Taito Power JC system is a PowerPC based version of their JC system, which was based on a 68014 instead, I think. And the game that runs on it is Operation Tiger. So, fair few processors there, but the important one to note is it's got 100 MHz PowerPC. Now, these screens run at 100% speed, but in game it doesn't. So there's no sound emulation. But this is the fourth of the Operation Wolf games, because you had Operation Wolf, you had Operation Thunderbolt, you had Operation Wolf 3, although we don't talk about that one because it's terrible. And then you had Operation Tiger, which is this one. The move into 3D graphics. You see, it's already running at about 90% speed, now it's doing 3D. So I don't know if the driver can be optimized or if this is as fast as it's going to run. But there we go. You can see the intro works pretty well. It plays at a reasonable speed. And the graphics don't look too bad. I mean, the lighting looks alright. The time-lapse parts seem fine. Overall, you know, for a 3D game in MAME, this is looking pretty good. And before, it didn't really work properly at all. So, yeah, Operation Tiger. 1998. So, fairly early for a 3D hardware 3D game. So, 2 credits. See, there's no sound emulation, so you'll have to live with silence, I'm afraid. And the chat is disconnected again, apparently. Oh dear. Yeah, I don't really think Bubble Buster should be the parent dink. I did mention that, but it's not my choice in the end. And yeah, they made Kirby angry for the US box art when Kirby is not an angry. In fact, CHD uses FLAC, the ogre. One of the things I added to CHD format many years ago now was the ability to use FLAC for the audio. So yeah, this is a gun shooter, and you do have to calibrate the gun, but I did that earlier. Apparently not very well because it's not very accurate right now. Now I do notice it pauses a bit every now and again when you're shooting things. I don't know if that's maybe waiting for some sound status from the unemulated sound CPU, or if it's just some other bug with the status of some rendering or something. But you can see this is a sequel to Operation Wolf. Now I did play this one on real hardware back in the day. I'm going to say I was not too impressed by it. It doesn't quite have the appeal of the original games. It just feels a little bit more generic, sort of House of the Dead-y. Whereas the others were distinct. You know, you're on a battlefield. Apart from 3 was terrible anyway, as we said. But you know, the first game was very much about the side scrolling across an army base. The second one was very much into the screen, because that was the style that one. And this one is, I don't know. It doesn't really have a style of its own. But you can see it is now playable. I say I should have probably calibrated it a bit better. There's still work to be done on the driver, obviously. It's running at about 68 to 70% speed, jumping up to about 75 here. But, you know, considering this was not a playable game just last week, I think Villa's done a good job of improving the driver. Because this is definitely, I wouldn't call it a working game yet, but it's definitely a playable game now. So, yeah, it's be interesting to see if he can hook up the sound. I believe he mentioned he'd found where the sound program was stored on some of these, or maybe that was the some of the other games. So who knows? We might get sound emulation in this at some point too. And then we'll see if it still does this pausing thing. I'm probably shooting hostages, aren't I? Hence the life -1 when I shoot things. Ooh, that hurt. But yeah, it's kind of like Time Crisis, but without the hide feature, which sort of defined Time Crisis. I don't know. I just wasn't a fan when I played it on real hardware, so my expectations are quite low. It's competent, but unspectacular. You have to choose multiple routes, so let's go to the right. And here's where I try and refresh the chat again. What's going on? And once again, it's not doing it. If you're saying anything, I can't see you, I'm afraid. If I'm streaming, I don't know. It seems to think I've got no internet again, so anything could be going on right now. So let's just blast away at these people. Well, you do have a machine gun, I keep forgetting that, so you can just hold fire actually. I keep tapping, but of course that drains your bullets much more quickly. Let's try and get this working again. So yeah, it looks like there's an issue both my end and YouTube end, which is really causing me problems. So I don't know who can see this or hear me. So here we go. So yeah, I'm not going to spend too long on this because it's still a preliminary piece of emulation progress. But I thought it was worth demonstrating because I've talked a fair bit about the Konami improvements. You know, they're really impressive, and in fact there have been more of those since I last streamed them. Solar Assault has things like the filtering properly emulated now to look better than when I last covered it. But a bit of a Taito 3D that has also, you know, been neglected a fair bit over the years. It's good to see. It's just running a bit slow at the moment. So it dipped to about 40% there. So, hold on. That's now, what's going on? What's going on? Now I've got hey, now I've got no, I'm not having the best day, Evie. It keeps dropping out. I think it's my internet as well, because it's not just YouTube that's failing to load. I'm not getting other sites loading whenever it drops out, and I don't know why. So I don't know how much people have been seeing or missing, but I've got a chat window again. I don't. The whole internet here is going a bit funny. I'm not getting reports of many drop frames, but at the same time, my internet keeps dropping out apparently. So maybe Sundays are a bad day for streaming. Oh, here we go. Say helicopters. It's very, very time crisis. Just crisis like, say without the pedal to hide. There we go. So, yeah, this is one I'll be following any progress on. I mean, I'm hoping Vil makes a bit more progress with it because that'll be, impressive to see. But I'm quite impressed by the fact it runs as well as it does now. And again, I think we've gone all Michael Bay here, haven't we? Everything is exploding. Even my special move is a big rocket. Not a grenade anymore, a big rocket. There don't seem to be any tigers though for a game called Operation Tiger. Chat disconnected again. Yay. Which probably means my internet's disconnected again. Yeah, I'm going to call this one, guys, because there's clearly some issue here with either my connection or YouTube or something else, and I can't really tell what's going on because I keep getting disconnected messages. So if you can see this, I'm sorry, this stream's just not working. You've enjoyed some Puzzle Bobble, you've seen some Puzzle Bobble. I was going to have a look at the fix to time note in progress, but honestly, I can't tell what's going on at the moment. So yeah, I'm going to end it here, and I'll try and squeeze in another stream tomorrow if I can. If things are working better, I'll work out what's causing the issues I've got right now. So until then, I'll see you. Bye bye.